Well, welcome to another episode of Dunamis Woman Today. Oh, I'm so excited about this topic that we have coming up for you, and I'm sure it's going to bless your soul. So stay tuned. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you'll hear it in one moment.
Dunamis, Dunamis woman, woman. Dunamis, Dunamis woman.
Well, welcome to another episode of Dunamis Woman Today. And I am so excited because I have a special guest here. Matter of fact, she is one of my spiritual daughters. And we're going to be talking about a thought-provoking topic that whether you are single, whether you are married, whether you are divorced, the question is, are you under contract or under a covenant? Oh, yeah. I want to introduce to you all none other than Mrs. Carlene Boyd. And I said it, Mrs. Yes. Carlene Boyd. How are you, Carlene?
I'm great.
You excited?
Great. I'm excited.
You ready to engage with this topic?
Yes, ma'am.
I believe there's so many women out here who needs to hear the stance that God has placed in your heart and in your mind and soul regarding the covenant that you have made, not only with our Lord, but the benefactor of that covenant, which is Mr. Boyd.
Mr. Boyd. Yes,
Mr. Boyd. Yeah. How long have you been married to Mr. Boyd?
I've been married, 37
years.
Yes,
37 years. After so long, and we're going to get into the contract versus covenant, but after how many years was it that you end up having a breach in your marital relationship that caused you to say, Jesus, I need you?
Yes.
And you discovered Dunamis Woman.
4.5, 5 years.
4.5, 5 years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
So that was 32 years in.
Yes.
32 years in.
Yes.
Birth two sons.
Grandkids.
Yeah. Got your legacy that you're fighting for.
Yes.
And then you discovered there was some other dynamics going on that kind of took you off your course a little bit. Talk about that.
Been in the marriage, high school, junior high. I was in junior high. He was in high. Mm-hmm. So high school, junior high, sweetheart. So, it being with him for so many years at that juncture of 4.5 years, it just hit me in the core where I didn't know who I was, what to do. It was shocking because I thought I was stable and comfortable where I was at.
In your marriage?
In my marriage, and him trusting him and just comfortable living. Both of us just retired. It was about traveling time. The kids were out the house. But But
you had your plan. You was going to live life happily ever after.
Yes.
You know, but I remember when you came, Carlene, and when I met you, your emotions was shattered so much. Yeah. You know, the enemy had come in and hit you in the core of your soul.
Right.
Talk about those emotions a little bit. What was you experiencing? What was that feeling like?
The feeling like a death. A death. Only person that's real close to me that I know of was my grandmother. Mm-hmm. So I was functioning, but it was like I was there, but wasn't there. So I was that inner body experience. Yes. Woo, I'm doing what the daily stuff to do, but who am I?
Who am I? Yeah.
You know, what's my next step in life? I didn't know who to go to, where to go to. And then you go to the people that you're familiar with. Oh, this happened to me. Help me. You know, I needed help. I needed help because I wasn't Colleen. I wasn't Colleen and didn't know what to do. Everything that I done, I was staying up. And a while back, I had, used to drink. It took me back there because I was trying to numb.
Yeah, you
numb everything. I didn't want to be around nobody. It's just like, boom.
It's amazing you use the word death. And I want to go into that because when divorce, even the thought of it, and your husband said he wanted a divorce.
Yes.
The very thought of it brings a form of death. Divorce is a tearing.
Yeah.
Divorce is a tearing that will rip you to the core of your soul, where literally it means death. And it's nothing worse than a person walking around breathing, but the death is taking place on the inside.
Yes.
So you had to take a stance when God said take a stance, and healing had to take place for you. But at the end of the day, you firmly believe that you were in a covenant relationship with your husband and not just made a contractual agreement for 32 years.
No.
Talk about covenant from your mindset. Talk about covenant that made you say, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what, I'm standing.
I'm standing. We in this together.
Talk about
the covenant to me, I knew throughout our years, because, like I said, we was young. We got married at Justice of the Peace. So it wasn't, and I had to have my mother sign for me. So we were all, we ain't had no kids. It was just going to be us. So in that covenant, as the years grew, we've been through some stuff, but even in that, it turned around. God made a way. We worked it out. Okay, back to making that life happen. So when this happened, or even before it happened, our covenant with each other, it wasn't about paper, because like anniversaries come, we vow to each other. We have our own little ceremony with God. Ain't nobody around, and we vowed or say, okay, we're gonna be there. It's no ending. I got you, you got me. It wasn't no, the government stamp. Okay, you married on stamp or whatever.
You all made that vow, that
and it was God
to one another.
And when that wasn't the truth of what I thought, because I'm thinking I'm lovely, I'm comfortable, I'm protected, and that, like,
and you were, and you were,
mm-hmm.
and you are,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we all have to understand, first of all, as a dunamis woman, the enemy wants to hit you in aspects of your soul that only come through the dearest persons to your heart.
Oh yeah, and I had to learn that.
That covenant deeply is a heartfelt thing. That covenant is a heart issue. It hits you in the core of your soul. And there is no covenant, you all. And I'm going to talk from a spiritual perspective to you, Carlene, and everyone who's watching. And this is going to amaze you, because there is no covenant without blood.
No blood, yeah.
There is no covenant without a blood. And this is not just a covenant and a vow you made, because there's a difference between a vow, but this is the only man that you've ever known sexually.
Yes.
Come on now. This is the man who broke your hymen.
Oh yeah.
That your blood was shed.
Yes.
You better come on now.
Yes.
See, a lot of times we're doing things, with people.
Right.
And we don't understand how a covenant is really formulated versus when you're just being with somebody. It could be a contractual agreement until you come in and allow the blood of Jesus to reestablish you.
Yes.
So even though that was a covenant that was made with you unknowing, now God had to come in and allow your covenant with him to be established, because it's nothing but the blood of Jesus that can make this whole again.
Yes.
Are you with me?
I'm with
Talk
you.
about that from your standpoint. Because I start preaching on here, because it's real.
Okay, like you said, the covenant that both of y'all shared, that was broken. And to have him, infidelity or whatever you want to call it, to share himself, that was shattering. Because, hey, like you said, spirit to spirit, we have that connection, and it's not about sex.
No, it's not.
It's about the intimate parts and the, just that y'all are entwined.
Yeah.
You
all are one.
We are one.
You are one.
We are one.
And you ain't letting nothing shatter that.
Right. Because like I said, you speak for him. Y'all two talking, and you say that he say something. Oh, and you correct that word. Y'all instinct.
Yes.
So to have that just torn, that torn in between there, it's like, what? And then you sharing yourself. That was a hard thing to accept.
Even your imagination was running wild with you to even fathom the fact that the man you made a covenant with, not a contract, a covenant that he was with someone else could
Mhm.
actually just made you just be shattered. But
Right.
you took a stance.
I took a stand.
And you came to Dunamis Woman
Mhm.
ready to take a stand.
Take a stand.
What have you learned through Dunamis Woman that have caused you to take that stance, that this is a covenant that I'm never giving up on?
Well, like I said, I know that we were meant to be. Like you
Mhm.
said, it's a covenant. It's not to be broken. And in our community, as Black women or
Mhm.
Black family, a lot of that wasn't taught to us. And getting deeper into who I was,
Mhm.
God's daughter, and even the marriage and standing for my marriage, I had to take that stance and say, okay, we have to break that cycle.
Mhm.
We have to break that cycle
Yes.
of, okay, it's so easy. Okay, you go your way, I go my way. No, we're going to fight for the family,
That's
the
right.
legacy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
standing, it wasn't easy.
Mm.
It
Still
wasn't
isn't.
easy. It's still not.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
still a fight. And that's the thing. The fight, the warfare fight you have to fight for your family,
Yes.
for your husband. It's about me and him, but it's more.
It's more.
We're connected with
Mhm.
sons, brothers, your whole
Grandchildren.
grandchildren.
Yes.
So no, I'm and you don't give up on that.
Mhm, mhm,
You
mhm.
don't give on that. Even the love, even down to even covering him
Mhm.
in his wilderness state.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
You know,
mhm,
even though you're fighting for yourself,
mhm, mhm.
it's like a twofold
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you have to fight for, and it's worth it all.
Is it
you
worth
know.
it all?
Oh yes,
Is it worth it?
It's hard, but it's worth it.
It's hard, but it's worth it.
It's worth
So
it.
what you're
It's worth
saying
it.
is that anybody can break a contract,
Oh yes,
but God won't allow anybody to break a covenant.
no.
Not even someone who come in, another woman, you know what I'm saying, or female, as I call them, or even little girl who thinks she's a woman, to say, I want your husband. A covenant says to the enemy, I'm standing.
I'm standing.
You're going to shed some blood in your soul, but I'm standing.
I'm standing.
You're going to have some agony in your soul, but I'm standing.
I'm standing. And even in that standing, people outside might like, okay, y'all over, oh, you weak for standing. No, the strength is in the
That's
standing.
that dunamis. That's
yeah. The strength is in your standing. That power is it's in the power that God gives you, and I didn't know that I had.
That you didn't know that you had.
But
and that's that dunamis power.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's so easy to give up on what you believe.
Yes.
It's so easy to give up on that person. It's so easy to give up on yourself.
Yeah.
On yourself. And that's the amazing part. You're not giving up on yourself.
Right. Yeah, that's easy. Like, forget it. It's just too much. But in that strength and that power that God put, girl, if you don't stand here, I got you. You know, knowing, even in the midst of the crazy in and outs or whatever. But when you turn around, okay, get out of self. That's my thing. I need to separate myself.
But that's why
get on my head.
But that's why you can't do this alone.
You can't.
You can't do this alone. Not only, myself as a spiritual leader, spiritual coach for yourself, you have other sisters.
Hallelujah.
In Dunamis Woman that have formulated with the same heart to say, no matter what, I'm standing.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's not just, so many people get so distracted because they think they're standing for a man. And when you looking at a man and not looking at Christ, and like you said, the legacy, this is about not just him, but the seed, his posterity, you all's children. You know what I'm saying? You all's grandchildren. Even as you all may even leave this earth, though he may tarry before Jesus' return, your great grandchildren. So you as a dunamis woman is fighting beyond just a man.
That's it. And even to come back to say that having them sisters or whoever, you standing with you, because you can't do this by yourself. You know, them midnights or the emotion take over.
Yeah.
I can pick up the phone. Okay, you got this. You know, have that backing.
Yeah.
Because if you stay in your head, as I do sometimes, that thing will work you.
Well, this is not easy.
It's not.
I mean,
that thing will work
in the
you.
body of Christ, let me just say this to all of you all. as you all can see, this is not limited to Black women, but we are Black women.
Yeah.
As you stated,
Yes, ma'am.
we haven't been taught certain things.
Right.
But the enemy is still hitting us.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, as Black Christian people of the faith,
Mm-hmm.
divorce is the highest.
Yes. Yes.
It's the highest.
Yes.
We're on the highest charts of many statistics.
Mhm,
You know what I'm
mhm,
saying?
mhm.
So you're fighting the fight that you're saying, I'm not going to be a statistic.
Right.
I'm not going to be the average. A
Mhm.
dunamis woman is not average. A
Mhm.
dunamis woman doesn't go with the norm. I
Mhm.
know you have gotten some backlashes
Right,
from people.
Right.
Family.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what you putting up with that?
Right. Right.
Just go get a divorce.
Right. That ain't you, Colleen. I'm surprised he's still living.
Right? But you know what?
Right,
In all
right,
due respect,
Right.
as a result of your stand,
Mm-hmm.
your husband have come to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've had the privilege of coaching him. He coming
Mhm.
back.
Yes.
He-
Yes.
He's struggling.
He's struggling.
But he coming.
He coming.
We in warfare. We're
Right.
fighting.
Mhm.
But he even told me,
Mhm.
Miss D, you know what my real problem is? I don't know who she is.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
He said, because the Carlene I know, for what I've done,
Mm-hmm.
she shouldn't be responding
Right.
the way she responded.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Healing
Yeah. Yeah.
will mess a man's
Right.
man up.
Right.
Talk about healing real quick before we go.
Ooh.
Because you couldn't do this without the healing power of God.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it doesn't take. It's not a quick fix.
Mhm.
It's not a quick fix. And the coaching and the teaching and even the women that's standing with you in this, it makes it more easier. And even to get to know and loving me, that was a real problem with me. I did not love me.
You were so busy loving that man, you
Yeah.
didn't know how to love you.
Yeah. Busy loving him, taking care of house, taking care of kids for 30-something years.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So Colleen wasn't no whatever, but now it took me the time. You have to take the time within self
Yes.
and
yes.
to get to heal, because every course or every whatever you had, I was like, okay, she throw this out, I'm taking, because I needed it for my soul,
to
for
learn
my
you.
healing.
Yes.
And in that healing, it helps, and it brings out the refreshing of who you are as
come
a
on now.
woman
Who
to
you
stand.
are.
Yeah.
Come on
Like I be like this. I mean, gone. You know what I'm saying? But it makes you just stand tall.
Yeah.
In it.
In
like,
the woman.
in the woman.
In the woman.
Right.
And we put so much of our affection
Mhm.
In the man,
Mhm.
in the marriage,
Right.
in the children,
Mhm.
the responsibilities of the duties that we have to perform.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it's never about the marriage.
Right.
It's about the covenant agreement that God made with us.
Yes.
You are in covenant with Christ. I am not in a contract with Christ.
No.
Even a lot of people make their relationship with
Mhm.
Christ
Mhm.
from a religiosity standpoint
Mhm.
to be a contract.
Right. And even in that, as you say, the covenant with you and God, He put me on this earth
Come on now.
at a time like this
Mhm.
to stand,
Mhm.
because He knew what was coming forth and knew that He put it in me. So let me bring it out of my daughter.
Mhm.
You got this. I have it.
Mhm.
And I'm going to surround you
Mhm.
with women
Mhm.
that's going to push you to
Mhm.
that destiny for your life, for your legacy.
Mhm.
And that's a blessing,
Mhm.
because if you think that you can do it alone, you are killing yourself,
Yes, you are.
because it is a hard drive to do.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
please
Because
take that stance for self.
the kingdom is not a solo act.
Right.
Dunamis
Mhm.
is our Father's power.
Yeah.
It has been endowed within
Mhm.
us.
Mhm.
It's all about the kingdom.
Mhm.
For thine is the kingdom. Thine is the
Yeah,
power.
yeah.
God wants to get the glory out of your
Yes,
covenant
yes,
relationship. Anybody could have given up. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
So it's not a solo act. We try to do things so much, particularly when it causes humiliation.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
like you said, women, what you doing that for?
Yeah.
What you doing that for? You
Right.
see him doing this,
Mhm.
leave him. You know what I'm saying? It's not all about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's about enduring.
Mhm.
Now, I want to say this before we go.
Mhm.
It's been 4 years
Yes.
since you've been here at Dunamis Woman.
Mhm.
In spite of what you have seen, in spite of how much your husband have said to you,
Mhm.
divorce,
Mhm.
you go into warfare, you go into
Mhm.
prayer, you
Mhm.
keep standing, you keep doing this, but you have never stepped out
Mhm.
and rendered evil for evil.
Mhm.
You're still faithful
Yeah.
to him.
Yeah.
because you're faithful to Christ. Talk
Right.
about that. Because most women would have went out and got a dip,
Oh yeah.
a snip, and another hip.
Yes, yes.
But even when he's not faithful to you, I'm talking about
Right,
the
right,
husband.
right, right.
You're faithful to him.
Right.
Talk about that.
It's not about him, but it's about him.
Mm-hmm.
It's about who God made me to be.
Mm-hmm.
And even to stand in the woman that I am, or that he put down into me. Even like he may not know that God made me for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
He may not know.
He
but
may
you
not know, but I know
Yeah.
that God made me for him. And even to pray for him, intercede for him, to not be in the wilderness, to come to God first of all, and to be that man, because even they need us to pray and make them better and call out who he's supposed to be as man. You are that champion. You are that leader. You are that man of God.
Come on
you
now.
are valor. You all this.
Even when it don't look
Even
like
don't
it.
look like
Even
it.
when it don't
Yes,
look like it.
yes. So
it ain't about going out there and getting another Joe Blow.
oh no.
It ain't about
Oh,
going
no.
out there and getting going out on a date.
Oh no. Oh no.
Does it get
Oh, no.
lonely sometimes?
I'm on assignment.
Come on
For Mr. Larry Boyd Sr. and he gonna make it out of this wilderness.
That's a covenant.
Yes.
Say it again.
I am here for Mr. Larry Boyd Sr. because there's two of them, and for him to make it out of this wilderness because he have an assignment even on his life, and that's why the attack is so much is on him. So, but he's going to make it out of that.
Well, you have heard only an inkling of the heart of Carlene Boyd.
Yes.
Mrs. Let me make that correct. Carlene Boyd. I can honestly tell you from a spiritual leader standpoint, pastor, coach, spiritual mother,
Yes, ma'am.
all of that. I've never experienced a woman who have taken a stance and is never going to give up. You all, dunamis is the power of God. As she said, it's a strength. It's a miraculous strength. Let me say that. A miraculous force. It's a miraculous ability to stand no matter what comes your way. It just happened to hit you concerning your marriage. It hits women in all other aspects of their life. But at the end of the day, it's for your legacy. Bottom line, a covenant never gives up. Christ never has given up on us. In all your indiscretions, in all your ways, in all your shortcomings, Christ still loves you. As a dunamis woman, he wants us to love like Christ have loved us.
Yes.
He says in his word, Mark 12:30, love me with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your strength. Carlene, if it's done nothing else, it's taught you how to love Christ with everything.
Yeah.
But it had to come in a place where it hit you to draw you back to him.
Yes.
Don't make your relationship with Christ a contract. Don't make your relationship with Christ and even the ones in whom you love. The assignment is not just about a husband. The assignment is not just about a man, but it's about your sons, your daughters, your grandchildren, the ones God has put not only in your midst, but most of all in your heart. God is reestablishing covenant relationships.
Yes.
He wants us to know who he really is and not just serve him for what he can do. Well, there you have it. More to come. Get connected with us at www.dunamis-woman.com and learn even the more. I am Pastor D, and you all have a good one.
Dunamis woman.
The enemy wants to hit you in aspects of your soul that only come through the dearest persons to your heart.
Oh, yeah. And I had to learn that.
That covenant is a heartfelt thing. That covenant is a heart issue. It hits you in the core of your soul. And there is no covenant, you all. And I'm going to talk from a spiritual perspective to you, Carlene, and everyone who's watching. And this is going to amaze you because there is no covenant without blood.
The blood, yeah.
There is no covenant without a blood. And this is not just a covenant and a vow you made, because there's a difference between a vow, but this is the only man that you've ever known sexually.
Yes.
Come on now. This is the man who broke your hymen.
Oh, yeah.
That your blood was shed.
Yes.
You better come on now.
Yes. I remember calling Pastor G many of times that I could not do this, but as it resonated in me and it always come back to get it out of my feelings. What I'm seeing, what I'm maybe even hearing, that my legacy exists. And that we're going to break this. It was put in me. I had that dunamis power within me to break it. So get out of my feelings and do the work. You on assignment. Who am I?
Who am I? Yeah.
What's my next step in life? I didn't know who to go to, where to go to, and then you go to the people that you're familiar with, like, oh, this happened to me. Help me. I needed help. Just knowing it's not just about me. It's about my legacy. And if I don't, I had to look within myself, and even like I said, my ancestors, my grandmother, whatever, saw how they moved, taking care of, well, let me put it like this. Seeing some of the men around them and then seeing how humble they were and whatever, the man out here have this kid, that kid, or whatever, and just standing and being strong woman. I didn't know that came from God. I did not know until I was deep in it, deep in it, and then knowing that this had to happen to turn me around, to start loving me, because I grew up broken, mother not there, all that, but God took that time, even in the midst of all that, betrayal or whatever. It was first about me getting Colleen together to make that stand, or to stand. Because that was like, no, I can't do this, all that, even in my 50 something years, So just taking the stance and knowing that it ain't about me. It's for my legacy that's come, my granddaughter, great, 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 great on. That, yeah, you can stand in it, but we're going to change this cycle right up in here. And I'm fighting for that, to break everything that is on my legacy, or on my, what's that, generation, So yeah, I have to,